Hi friends, welcome to the start of a new vlog. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kim. That fell. I am an author illustrator, and here on my channel I like to create cozy and intentional content about books, writing, and lifestyle. In today's vlog I want to do a more chill and just hang out with you guys vlog. I've been having the itch to go thrifting, to go thrift a couple of little tchotchkes that I have in mind that I've been wanting to collect for future videos. I've been looking for some candle holders and just like decorative things for my bookshelves back here. I always like to have a good combination of books and just random little knickknacks on there. I've been having the itch to go look for those, as well as to go and look to see if there's any cool books at the thrift store. I usually always end up finding a couple of them, and I always buy them because they're super cheap there. It's been a while since I've gone thrifting. It's been like a month. I haven't gone thrifting this year. So I just figured that I would go and check it out. I'm gonna go with my mom and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna stop by and get something to maybe like a coffee, and then we're gonna go and look at our local thrift stores and see what we can find. So I'm just gonna bring you guys along and make it a fun little day and explore to see what we can find at the thrift store, because we know that it is hard out here. We need to get everything on a budget as much as we can, and the thrift store is always a good option. With that being said, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you like this content for me, remember to like, subscribe, engage. That would really help out my channel, and let's have a good old thrifty day. So let's go.
Parece fado, mas prefiro ficar sozinho, prefiro até morrer do que viver pela vida anestesiado. Eu prefiro sentir e chorar do que passar a vida sem sair do lugar, sem ter alguém pra amar. Eu não vou negociar a minha liberdade por destino frio sem verdade. Você chama isso de perder? Eu admiro o caos e digo pra você que isso é viver. Eu não vou negociar a minha liberdade por destino frio sem verdade. Você chama isso de perder? Eu admiro o caos e digo pra você que isso é viver.
Hi friends, I am here with the tiny mic of this channel. If my voice sounds a little wonky is because I have a sore throat. It's actually a few days after I went thrifting with my mom, and like a few days later I surely got sick, but I still wanted to get this video out to you guys. So I'm here with the haul of all the amazing things that I found in this little thrifting video. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, me and my sisters and my mom, we love a good thrifting moment, and I actually found some gems, and it was so hard not to buy every book that I came across, especially when you're thrifting, obviously at a thrift store or some sort of discounted bookstore. It is hard not to want to get these books because we all know that books are super expensive and it's hard passing them up when you find them at a discounted price. So with that being said, I tried to manage myself and not buy every book that I came across that I wanted, and I think I did pretty well. Let me show you guys the big bag that I have of all my thrifty goods. This is the bad boy that I have here of all my thrift finds, and this is a combination of books and clothes and some little house trinkets that I found that I really liked. Let me put this down before I drop this. So friends, with that being said, I think I'm going to start off with the second thrift store that me and my mom went to because I only got one item from there. And that thrift store is called Leftovers, which I thought was such a fitting name, and it was actually quite cute. I have never been there. It was my first time going in there, and it was a lot more small, and they did have quite a few books, but not so many in the genres that I personally love. Actually, I'm lying. For some reason in my head, I'm like, well, I only got one item from that thrift store, but I actually got some other things from that thrift store. I got 3 items total from that thrift store at Leftovers. It's time to clip Tiny Mike to the sweater so I can better maneuver my hands here. So I actually got these little cute jars from Leftovers, and it's these 2 little jars because I find that when it comes to decorating your bookshelves, especially if you want to put plants in your bookshelves, I find that decorating them with little jars and propagating plants on here, it just looks super cute. I have put plants in my bookshelf before, like real plants that are buried in soil, and sometimes because my bookshelves might not get the best lighting, my plants suffer from that. And so I find that just propagating them and putting some water in these little tiny jars and putting a little vine of plants is a great way to keep your plants alive on your bookshelves. Kind of sort of like how I'm doing here. This is a big jar of just water, and I'm propagating this really pretty plant on here, and it already has a whole bunch of roots. I don't know if you could see that. So this is a great way to just decorate, I feel like, your space, especially if you don't get a lot of natural lighting or your plants won't be able to get a lot of sun. Then just propagate them, put them in some water and just propagate them and just pop them in your bookshelves. I feel like that gives a really nice and pretty look, and I just love it. So I feel like these are gonna look really nice, and they're giving sort of like dark academia vibes, which I love. And plus, these were only like $3 each. I feel like that's a steal. So the one book that I did find at Leftovers that I ended up buying is actually from the same author of a book that I'm reading this month in February. It was a book that came up on my little TBR, Mr. Fox, my TBR jar. This book I've been having, okay? This is the book that came up on my TBR jar, and I'm reading this February. It is The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I found the book binder also by Pip Williams at Leftovers thrift store. I don't think this is a prequel to the Dictionary of Lost Words. I think this is just like another book written by the same author, is about a person who is a bookbinder who binds books. I would love to one day get into bookbinding. Like, that would be so cool if I can learn how to bind my own books. So it seems like this one is also based in the early 1900s and is also based in Oxford, which is what the Dictionary of Lost Words is also based at. So from what I'm reading here, this follows our main protagonist, whose name is Peggy, and Peggy is a bookbinder. She binds books, and that's all she wants to do. This is actually set in the 1912s, and during this time there's some sort of war going on. So I believe this is going to be more of a contemporary contemporary fictional book about our main protagonist, the bookbinder, who ends up maybe, I think, falling in love with a Belgian soldier that is part of this sort of war going on, and Peggy having to compromise her love for bookbinding to having to do other things that has to do with this war. So this sounds very interesting. I love it when a good contemporary fictional book follows a character during some sort of war going on. I do not read that many books that have to do with wars. I do so more like watching shows that have to do during that time frame. So I'm excited to read a book that has to do with some sort of war. And this book was only $3, you guys. $3. So I had to pick this up considering that I am reading the Dictionary of Lost Words this month. So that's gonna be fun. So that is everything that I got at Leftovers Thrift Store. Now on to my biggest haul, and that is Savers. Savers is sort of like a chain thrift store where I live, and it's usually your go-to when it comes to thrifting. So let's start off with the clothes. The first thing that I want to show you guys is actually this sweater that I'm wearing. I got this cute little striped sweater. It's a knit little cable sweater. I really loved the green against the tan. I actually got rid of a lot of my sweaters recently. These were sweaters that I no longer loved, so I decided to get rid of those. So I'm in need of some sweaters, so I ended up getting this one. I like it when a sweater is not super chunky because I live in California and it does get cold here, but you don't usually experience too much cold weather, or at least not where I live. And if it does get cold, it doesn't get severely cold. So this is a good combination of warm but also lightweight. And then the second clothing item that I got is actually this really beautiful skirt. Let me actually put my tiny mic over here. But this is how it looks like. I love it so much. It is quite big on me, so I think I'm gonna have my mom help me mend this and have it more fit my waist. So I loved that. And then I got this just cute little airy and lightweight button down. I love to throw these on and layer them, just like if I don't want to wear a cardigan or a sweater and I just want something a little bit more lightweight. These are great to just throw on top of a tank top and call it a day. All right, so on to home decor stuff. The next thing that I got is another jar. Like I mentioned, I love these little jars to just propagate. So this is another jar that I'm gonna use to throw in some water and propagate some plants and display this on my bookshelf. I really love it when it has like this dark glass. I don't know, it just gives all the cool dark academia vibes, and I don't know, I just love it. I love it so much. So that's another jar. This was $4.49. And then I've been on the hunt for some taper candle holders, and this is not necessarily what I was looking for, but I did like this one, and it's this little candle holder, and I mostly really like this because of the glass color. It is like an orangey yellowy color. I originally wanted like a brass color, something that was made out of metal, but I couldn't find one, and instead I found this, and I did want something short like this, so that was good. And this was only $3.99, so I'm excited to use this. I have like a lot of big chunky candle holders like this one. This is another one that I found at a thrift store, and it's like for chunky candles, so I was looking for something that was more for taper candles like this. And considering that I got a candle holder that's particularly for taper candles, I of course had to see if they had some taper candles. And I did find this little stack of taper candles. I think one of them is broken, but it's okay. This was $5 or $4.49. And I think there's like 5 candles in, oh no, 6 candles. I think there's 6 candles in here, and they're pretty long. So I'm hoping that this fits. Actually, let's try it on right now. Let's see if it fits my taper candle holder. Well, it's actually not broken, it's just like bent, which is still fine. I love finding candles at the thrift store because candles can be quite expensive, and this whole pack was only, how much was this? $5.50? Ooh, hold on. All right, these are they're a little melted, but it fits. Ah! Okay, it's a little wonky, but I still like it. I think it looks very cute. A little trick that I learned to make your taper candle stay is to melt a little bit the bottom of your candle, and as soon as you have a good little melt going on, then you put it onto the base that you're putting it on, and it usually sticks. So I might just do that. But that looks very cute and cozy, and I love it. And the last thing that I got is actually this frame. For some reason, I really love this. When I was younger, I remember my mom having a whole bunch of these, and she would always do like a little collage of different family photos, and it just reminded me of that. And I just thought that it would be cool to print some of my illustrations or either paint a whole bunch of little images that give off vintagey, cottagey, dark academia type of moodiness and display them all on here. So we'll see. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have seven images that I need to fill on here. And I just think it would be cool to just add it to my collage wall over here, or also my bookshelf. I don't know. We'll see. It is a little bit scratched, but it's okay for $4. All right, friends. Now let's move on to the books that I found at Savers. So Savers always has this deal where you buy 4 books and you get 1 free. To be honest, it was so hard to pick books at Savers because I found so many that were so good. I think at one point I had like almost 10 books in my cart, and I was like, no, we cannot do this. There's no point. I'm not gonna get to these books right away. So I told myself that I would only get 5 for the deal that they had going on. So the first book that I want to show you guys is The Daughter of Fortune by Isabel Allende. I have seen this book around everywhere, and just look at the cover. Doesn't this make you want to read it? I feel like there's nothing better than a book that gives off this vibe, something that is based in like probably like the 1800s, and that it has to do with fortune telling or witches or wizards or any of that sort. For some reason, that is just so interesting to me. I love a book that is based like back in the day, like the 1800s, 1700s, 1400s, and it has to do with magic. It just sounds so cool. So the synopsis of this book says, an orphan raised in Valparaíso, Chile by a Victorian spinster and her rigid brother, young vivacious Eliza Summers follows her love to California during the gold rush of 1849, a danger-filled quest that will become a momentous journey of transformation. In this rough and tumble world of panhandlers, immigrants, and aristocrats, Eliza will discover a new life of freedom, independence, and a love greater than ever dreamed. I don't know what the deal is, if our main protagonist is a fortune teller or is a witch or something, but I do read something of this blurb. It's just my sticker is covering it. It says something like submits to her wizardry. So we might be following our main protagonist, who might be a witch. Who knows? And this was only $3.99. All right, you guys, this next book I have been seeing everywhere like for years now, and I've always wanted to read it. And I actually found it at Savers, and I'm so glad for that. And that is The Midnight Library by Matt Hay. All I know about this book is that it is extremely sad and heartbreaking. But beside that, I don't really know what this is about. Let's see. The synopsis says, between life and death, there is a library. Up until now, Nora Seed's life has been full of misery and regret. She feels she has let everyone down, including herself. But things are about to change when she finds herself in the Midnight Library. She has a chance to make things right. The books in the Midnight Library enable Nora to live as if she had done things differently. Each one contains a different life, a possible world in which she made different choices that played out in an infinite number of ways, affecting everyone she knew as well as many people she never met. With the help of an old friend, she can now undo every decision she regrets as she tries to work out her perfect life. But things aren't always what she imagined they'll be, and soon her choices place the library and herself in extreme danger. Before time runs out, she must answer the ultimate question: what is the best way to live? Oh, you guys, so this is a book about second chances, maybe a book about all the different roads that life puts in front of us and choosing which one, and reminiscing on what could have been, what is. Whew. I know with this book, we're probably going to be unpacking some heavy grief maybe, but I am still excited to read this book. And it was only $3.99 and it's in very good condition. All right, friends, the next book that I got is actually a middle grade book. Of course, we know. If you've been here, you know that I love a good middle grade. And that is The Accidental Afterlife of Thomas Marsden. This is by Emma Trevane, and I am living for this cute little cozy book cover. Doesn't that give you sort of Neil Gaiman vibes with The Graveyard Book? I read that this book is about this boy, Thomas Marsden, who one day is walking in a cemetery and he comes across a dug out grave. And in that grave, he peeps over and he sees himself. So he's looking at himself inside of the ditch. I read that this book is full of fairy folklore, that it is full of spiritualist and magic and mysticism and adventure. So I am excited to get into this, and it is fairly short, and it was only $1.99. All right, friends, we have 2 more to go. The next book that I got is another book that I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I found this. And that is The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan. I have been seeing this book everywhere, and I cannot believe that I found it at the thrift store. I am so excited for this. I cannot even begin to really tell you what this is about, only that it is set at a bookstore, obviously by the title of this book. But honestly, anything that has to do with libraries, with bookstores, with books in general, I will most definitely read it. It says, Nina Redmond is a literary matchmaker. Pairing a reader with that perfect book is her passion and also her job, or at least it was until yesterday. She was a librarian in the hectic city, but now the job she loves is no more. Determined to make a new life for herself, Nina moves to a sleepy village many miles away. There she buys a van and transforms it into a mobile bookshop that she drives from neighborhood to neighborhood, changing one life after another with the power of storytelling. From helping her grumpy landlord deliver a lamb to sharing picnics with a charming train conductor who serenades her with poetry, Nina discovers there's plenty of adventure, magic, and soul in a place that's beginning to feel like home. A place where she just might be able to write her own happy ending. That sounds amazing. We love a good bookstore that is actually a van, a traveling bookstore. Honestly, we need to have more of those. Traveling libraries, traveling bookstores. Also, Nina sounds amazing. Like, who wouldn't want a friend who is great at pairing people with the perfect book that suits them? I think we all deserve to find that one book, that favorite book of ours that really resembles who we are. And if someone offers those services, then hey, that's a great business. So that is The Bookshop on the Corner. Now, the last book that I got is a book that I've never heard of, but when I came across the book cover, you guys, I was just like, that is so beautiful. I've said this before, if it has a great book cover and the title is amazing, that is enough for me to buy the book. And that is Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rivka Brunt. Look at that amazing cover. It is simple, but the teapot, you guys, it gave everything. And honestly, after I read the synopsis of what this book is about, I wouldn't even have been in the margins of guessing what this was based on the book cover. This is actually set in the 1980s, and it follows our main protagonist, whose name is June. And June has a wonderful relationship with her uncle, who I believe is like a famous painter. Her and her uncle have always had a wonderful relationship until one day he actually passes, and in his passing, June ends up discovering some secrets of her uncle that she had no clue about. One of those secrets brings her to this stranger, a man who also misses her uncle for very loving reasons. And of course, June didn't know this very personal life of her uncle, but this stranger whom June met at her uncle's funeral wants to get close to her. And what he does to get close to her is actually sends June this teapot by mail with a letter explaining who he is and what his relationship was to his uncle. I believe June's uncle ended up passing from an illness, and her uncle's partner wants to just get to know June and tell her all about her uncle and their life together. I read that this is a very heartwarming story about love and loss and grief. It just sounded like a really nice read, and I just cannot wait to get into this one. So friends, that concludes this little thrifting haul. Thank you so much for joining me in this very fun trip. Let me know down in the comments below if you like these kinds of videos. This is the first video that I ever do for my YouTube channel where I take you along on a little thrifting adventure. Because if you do like these videos, I would be more than happy to do more of these. It is always good when we can find a good bargain for books, right? I am super happy with everything that I found, and I cannot wait to propagate my plants and get to some really amazing books. So with that being said, friends, thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like, subscribe, engage with this video, as it would really help out my YouTube with the YouTube algorithm. And also, I have a goal to be able to make it to 5,000 subscribers this year, and your support by engaging with this video really goes a long way. So thank you so much. With that being said, friends, I will leave you with our yearly quote, and that is to remember that you can create the life that you want because you so deserve it, friend. Thank you again. Take care, and I will be seeing you very soon, friend. Bye for now.